We are streaming. It's sending data to various sites across the internet.
Yay.
super hyped. Scotty Edwards, super. Oh, that reminds me. I need to tweet about it. Did I actually tweet about it? Hold on. What did I think I deleted off the Twitter when I had a tweet prepped. God dang it, Ryan. You fool. You fool. Huh. I gotta tweet. I gotta tweet. Where'd it go? Fuck shit. Where'd it go?
Shut up, Carmelo.
Okay. I had a whole tweet out.
Chris Statlander's ripped out of her mind. Somehow I end up seeing way too many of her gym videos, and I'm always very impressed.
Going down to twitch.tv/countout for. Oh, wait. Live on.
Her and Jordan Grace, man. Jesus Christ.
Jordan Grace is like doing legit weightlifting competitions.
Yeah, she's kind of like insane.
I see pictures of her and Jonathan Gresham and I get mad at myself.
Yeah, they're a little shredded.
Jonathan Gresham is just all muscle. And I am angry about it.
I love Jonathan Gresham. But yes, he is literally a walking muscle. I remember when I learned they were married, I was like, what? Huh?
Excuse?
Well, I was like, I thought Jonathan Gresham was like wicked old, but then I learned he was not wicked old.
How old is he?
He's like 32, which is great because plenty more Jonathan Gresham.
Oh my god, he's only 32.
I didn't say that in full confidence. Don't quote me until I read. He is 33. He turned 33 since I said he was 32.
Oh, well, congratulations to Jonathan Gresham.
Jordan Grace is nope. They're not going to tell me. They're going to tell me when they were married. That's awesome. Like I could give a shit less. Jordan Grace is 25.
Ooh, we're online. We got the YouTube up too. I couldn't get YouTube up last week, but now we're up on YouTube. Beautiful.
No, I didn't ask about Tessa Blanchard, you fuckers.
And we're streaming.
Oh my god, every time.
Hold on, I lost my thing. Where'd it go?
All right, I'm gonna just stop talking until the show starts.
Okay, I'm gonna figure out my last little bits before I figure it out. Hold on, here we go. Let's fix that stream for you, baby. Here we go. Beautiful. And we'll have this open. And will that work? I hope it'll work. Is there much of a frame bit second thing that's all messed up? Hello, everybody. If there's anyone watching, hello. I can see if there's people watching. I can also see your comments. Okay, I think we're good. Let's do the show. Why not? Why don't we? Crack the knucks. There we go. Beautiful. And we're going to go live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ring Post Radio. I am your host, Ryan Neitzey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the hour, Scotty. I was going to say Scotty Wrestling.
It's okay. Somehow I get called that more than I get called my actual name.
I just tweeted out the link to the thing, and I was just like, Scotty Wrestling, Scotty Edwards, Scotty Edwards. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful. It's, you know...
Do you prefer to be called Scotty Edwards or Scotty Wrestling?
You can call me whatever you want, really. If I cared, I would stop changing it. but I am doing great. We're about to talk about professional wrestling. My life could be a lot worse than that. So, here we are.
Here we are. Here we are. Yeah, it's been another solid week in the grand old Neitzey household. I've been working from home for the past couple weeks, and I finally went back to the office. And boy howdy, I have like my own desk and everything, and it's terrifying. I have like responsibilities now, Scotty. I don't know if you have responsibilities, but I have responsibilities now at an office where I have to work with people. It's so weird.
People. Boo, people.
Boo, people. I'm working.
People.
Oh man, it's good.
Are they good people?
No, yeah, it's a good office environment. It's just so like I last year I work in the film industry. I think I told you this before.
You've told me. I don't know if you've told the Twitch viewers at home.
I don't know. Well, I work in the film industry. I work in accounting, so that's always exciting. But last season I was just like a clerk, and now I'm like higher up, so there's someone underneath me, and I just like feel weird asking them to do anything. Because I'm like, I were you a couple months ago, so I don't want to ask you anything. Like, can you get me Post-it notes, please? I need Post-it notes.
Can you get me Post-it notes? Nah, wow. Hot start.
Hot
We're talking about Post-it notes.
This is an early one. We're recording this earlier, like a whole hour earlier than usual.
What does it matter? I'm just gonna always be tired. That's why anytime you ask me a time, I'm like, sure, why
not? The eternal struggle. Scotty's always tired. That's his Hulk moment. He's always tired. Well,
I'm always angry too. So that I already have the Hulk.
Oh no! Oh no! This podcast is going to turn into Scotty's therapy sessions.
Please don't do that.
Well, hopefully we'll wake ourselves up with our great topics today. What we're going to talk about, of course, Stardom still having their 5-star Grand Prix. I would say maybe are we? I think we're almost halfway point.
2 weeks from today is the final.
2 weeks from today is the final. So probably the halfway point of the 5-star.
It's weird because like some wrestlers have hit 7.
Mm-hmm.
Some have only wrestled 4. Takumi Iroha, I believe, is at 4 now. For example, Omega's at 5. Yeah, it's up and down, but we have some unfortunate news from the Stardom world, which makes me sad every time I think about it.
And we'll certainly get to that. We also have the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor preview. That pay-per-view is happening this Sunday for Ring of Honor.
Big show.
But we're going to start off here with the kind of a conversation topic that I wanted to have with you. Obviously, we if you listen to our very first audio, then you know kind of where we stand on AEW and WWE main roster and all that jazz. Where we kind of like stand on if you've listened to the past couple weeks, you know that we've been basically talking about AEW for every week because they've had like a huge moment every single week practically in the wrestling world. And so I kind of just want to like have this conversation with you, Scotty, because it's just sort of like what I'm just looking at everything that AEW is doing, and I'm looking at what WWE is doing or attempting to do, and I'm just confused, concerned for WWE because I don't know what they can do. Like I don't know what other chips do they have to put what other cards to put down? Do they have anything else under their sleeve? They bring in Brock. They brought in John Cena. I don't know. What can WWE do at this point to try to catch up? Because it feels like AEW every week is breaking new records on pay-per-view, television, all these things. What do you think? Just right off the bat, what do you think that? Is WWE like dead in the water here? What are we talking about here?
WWE can never be dead in the water because at the end of the day, they still have some of the most talented wrestlers in the world. Like end of story, they still have the talent. First step though, I think, is to just keep doing shows like you did on Friday. I thought SmackDown overall was one of the best shows they had all year. You have the special ability to have the once in a lifetime unmatchable Brock Lesnar on your roster. And I know like a lot of people don't enjoy him and they get angered by his part-time status, whatever it may be. But Brock Lesnar, until the day he goes away completely, is the box office attraction of professional wrestling. And I think bringing him back, one, was a good step. I thought it was a necessary step for them. I always
Mhm.
did,
Mhm.
because he is what sets them apart from, say, an AEW, because AEW is the professional wrestling company right now
Mhm.
in the world. Like, that is the company to watch great matches and great promos, and but WWE can still do that. They can still have great matches. There have been multiple times that you and me have talked where we've talked about great WWE matches. Like, they don't have the inability there.
Mhm. Oh
But
yeah.
I think their number one thing is you have to let the talent be themselves and breathe again. Like, that's how you can fix WWE. It's never going to happen, because until Vince McMahon's gone, it's just not happening.
And even then, I think that's also part of my concern is just, we say until Vince McMahon's gone, which at this point he's going to live another 100 years.
Oh yeah.
But then it's like, we all sit here thinking, oh, Triple H is going to be the next guy that comes in. You're right. At this point, that's up in the air. I would say, that's real up in the air at this point because not only with the whole NXT and how everything fell apart for NXT there, it's almost like Triple H is not even in good hot water. Are we? If Vince, croaks, I knock on wood, nothing happens, obviously. But if Vince croaks like tomorrow, what happens? What happens to WWE? Is it a Tony Khan production? Are we confident that he can? Does Tony Khan even care about what's happening on television?
Yeah,
It's frustrating.
it's so weird, because there's so many this is a big thing I always say about WWE. There's so many talents in that company still that I love. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is why I keep my tabs. Because there's Roman's the company guy, but I love Roman. I think what he does in the ring, like I was saying this week, I was like, man, Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega would be insane, because we're getting Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega probably soon. And I was like, just thinking of matches that I didn't think we were going to see. That was one of, well, I definitely don't think we're ever going to see that. But there's this thing for me that you have the talent to be good. You have the talent to be a good wrestling show. But until you embrace that you are still professional wrestling, you are never going to get to the point of being entertaining on a week to week basis and breaking records again. That's just not going to happen. The only way you break records, unfortunately, is when you bring in The Rock, when you bring in John Cena. Like, I believe they reported SummerSlam was the most watched SummerSlam of all time. I honestly believe that, because one, it was a major show in a major venue. Two, it was the first. I feel like that was their WrestleMania this year.
Oh
And
yeah.
three, you had John Cena in the main event, and that's just going to always bring more eyes. But to continue, be breaking records and putting on shows that people want to see, you have to let the rest of your roster do something. And it's just ridiculous how much talent they have. Like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, for example, they haven't had anything for months.
Yeah, I was about
Like,
to say.
anything of like realness for months. And if you put them in AEW tomorrow, their main event stars. Like, that's my whole point here. Like, you have these guys. You just have to let them do what they do best. And I still think those two are two of the best in WWE when they actually do something. That's how good they are.
It's also very ironic that you bring up those two guys because
Oh, that was purposeful.
I figured as much. But like with the whole news about like Kevin Owens potentially leaving WWE, Sami Zayn's contract ends up this fall at some point. It's just all concerning. The reason I bring this whole up is there was a tweet from at Alex Green _ Greenlay talking about just the successes of another hot week for AEW. Best pay per view they ever did, 200,000 plus pay per view buys, the biggest for a non WWE promotion since 1999. And even then, like it was, I think it obviously pay per view numbers for WWE are way down, but pre network, there was a couple pay per views that were sub 200,000 pay per view buys. They get signings from Soho, Danielson, and Cole. Second biggest viewership for Dynamite at 1.32 million viewers. The women's matches on Dynamite and the previous Rampage, and I'm interested to see the results of the Rampage from just last night for us. With the highest viewed matches, highest viewed segments.
I have a gripe about Rampage.
Well, I can't wait for that. And they also, this week as well for Dynamite, beat WWE Raw in the 18-49 demo in the same week. We're not talking male. We're not talking, olds. We're talking key demo, 18-49, beat WWE Raw, which was another milestone for AEW. And it's just like the sky's the limit. What's that?
It made me very happy because, one, Dynamite has been better than Raw for pretty much since it started. Since it started, I don't know why I say pretty much. I can't name like one time Raw's been better than AEW Dynamite. Yeah. Even when Dynamite's been bad, I just can't name a time. Two, I feel like that's one step into making them understand, listen, this is competition. Like, you need to fully embrace that eventually, because AEW continuously is putting on great shows, must-see product. Like, there are so many people watching AEW now that weren't watching wrestling a year ago.
Yeah.
And that's just such a beautiful sign. Like, getting to 1.3 million overall is huge. Getting to 1.5 during a segment is huge. Like, they're only going up.
Yeah.
And, you'll have some weeks where they shoot back down. That happens.
Sure.
But there's so much exciting things going on. And listen, they don't even have Hangman Page on TV. They don't have Cody on TV. Like, those two have been two of the cornerstones of AEW since the beginning, and they're not even there.
Yeah.
So, like, they have, and they're going to keep bringing people in. Like, I hope people understand. Tony Khan has said multiple times, if there's a fit, he's bringing them in.
Yeah, he said it before, like in the NFL for the Jaguars, there's a roster cap. You can't exceed a limit, salary cap wise. Wrestling, there's nothing. If I can pick up whoever I want, I'll pick up whoever I want. I don't blame them. I think it's the right move.
I mean, Lee Moriarty, I think, is the perfect look at that because, one, great professional wrestler, guy you can. I don't think he needs to be like in the main event right now, but he's a guy you can build it around moving forward. Daniel Garcia, like those. Yeah. That is something he has said on one of the media calls and in like multiple interviews, is that I'm going to keep adding young talent because at the end of the day, it's all about having that next wave of talent. Yeah. Like, he has the Punks and the Danielsons right now, but they're not going to be around forever, and you need to have the talent ready. I think Darby Allin's growth from where he started to where he is now is the perfect example for how Garcia, Moriarty, others like that can build their way up, because those two are absolute studs. And Garcia's already, doing huge things for them, so it's not even like it's going to take a while.
Yeah. I think Moriarty was just a great signing overall. I just want to quickly say about Moriarty. He has, to me, not like the same like Enigma energy, but in an artistic sense, a very similar Darby Allin energy to me. Like both guys know their character. They know who they are, what they're doing. They have their aesthetic down perfectly. They both understand. I was able to watch like a Moriarty promo. I think someone put it in our Slack for count out, and I was just like, this guy gets what he's trying to do, and it's just like, what a pickup! This is the pickup. If they do it right, he can be another sort of Darby star, in my opinion. But again, yeah, as much success that AEW has, obviously there's some hiccups as well. There's gripes overall. There's despite the women's division having the highest rated segments in like 3 of their last 4 shows, I think.
This past week was a little tough. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's fair. But it's still, there's still a lot of gripes for women's wrestling in AEW, and I think that's obviously one of their, biggest growth points on their product. What are some thoughts on failures for AEW? I guess does that include Rampage last night?
Well, Rampage wasn't a failure because I actually liked 2/3 of the show. It's the third part that I was like, why is this happening? Why is this the end of the show? Who cares? Like, this is only the end of the show for Cincinnati and literally no one else. But first off, I think my it's not really a gripe, but I think it's telling. Someone asked CM Punk about the ranking system in AEW, and he said, I don't really know how I feel about that. And I think a lot of us can agree. Like, we still don't really know how to accept it because a lot of the times only one person matters in the top 5 or no one matters in the top 5. Like, Hikaru Shida has been in the top 5 of the women's division since pretty much losing the title. Yet we have not seen her on Dynamite once, not once. She was in the she was in the Casino Battle Royal, got eliminated in like seconds unceremoniously.
Mm-hmm.
And if you asked a normal AEW fan, like not the super diehards, whatever, like when's the last time Hikaru Shida wrestled, they would probably have no clue, because there's a very little chance they're watching Dark or Dark Elevation. I think that's clear for still a lot of their fans. Like, they hit like 400,000 views maybe a week, but that's not a lot compared to Dynamite, Rampage on just the first night alone, like for viewership. So, like, I guess the rankings are like my one little critique, but at the same time, it's different. And I still think they're figuring that out. So I'm not going to be like, you know what, they need to get rid of them or the show's ruined. Like, it doesn't matter. I think the only thing that those rankings affect are the women's division, because the tag team ones are just absolutely ridiculous. Like, none of them make sense. And the men's one, they usually do big singles matches with those top 5. And the top 5 also includes like Powerhouse Hobbs, which I love, by the way. I don't want to shoot at Powerhouse Hobbs, but like, it seems more names enter the men's division than anything else. The tag team division put Butcher and the Blade back at like number 3 this week, despite not wrestling all year. So like, it just doesn't make sense. And you need to find a complete understanding of all 3, not just the men's, or just get rid of them, because they don't. And I think keeping records and stuff is always cool.
Agreed.
Like, they don't necessarily, having a rank of number 1 doesn't necessarily enhance the product.
Yeah, that's actually goes right into one of our questions from Ashley, or lovely Ashley, at the Kitten's Paw on Twitter. Why did they keep denying Orange Cassidy any championship stuff when he's continuously the number 1 contender? I think that's also a great point while you're talking about the rankings, especially for the men's singles rankings, is that it sometimes it feels like it gets ignored. Obviously, and here's also the problem. I think the issue with the rankings and these new signings is that, the rankings right now dictate that like Orange Cassidy versus Omega should be probably the next match. If not that, maybe, because they sort of beat him before. If not that, maybe like a Hobbs, maybe like a Jungle Boy or something. But then you pick up a Danielson, and obviously that is no offense to Orange Cassidy, I would say Danielson versus Omega is probably the sexier matchup here.
How dare you?
How dare I? How dare you, sir? But it's just, it's that sort of thing, and that's what I also feel in the same breath, is that like the women's division is obviously motivated by rankings, which is nice. I like to see that, but then sometimes that doesn't work, because it's like, oh, Chris Statlander's the number 1 contender, she's going to take on Britt Baker at the pay-per-view, and it's like, cool. Well, I didn't see any of that build on Dynamite. You can only check it out on Dark from her winning matches against like jobbery kind of people. And then she gets a pay-per-view match with no build, and then they have to figure out the build after the fact.
I got a good example for you. Why has Thunder Rosa, of all people, not been like, you know what, Britt Baker, we should probably have a match? Because 1, I've beaten you.
Yeah.
2, I've been number 1 or 2 since you won the title.
Yep.
Like, I think that's the perfect example. But I'll let you get back to the Orange Cassidy question.
No, that's a perfect example. And obviously, right now with the women's casino battle royale with Ruby Soho, they found a way to get around to stall that for a little longer.
Yeah.
But it's like the things we have to do to get around the rankings sometimes. And maybe that's the whole thing about the rankings is that we shouldn't think about the rankings unless they think about the rankings. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, we're just ignore it unless it becomes important to the story. Like it's a storytelling device rather than a catch-all. And I think that's also the frustrating part is that like we made a whole deal about it when we started the promotion, and now it's like, it's maybe just ignore it. You got CM Punk when your top guys being like, I don't know about this thing. You got Danielson Omega on the horizon potentially. Maybe that's non-title. I don't know, but that Danielson's nowhere close to up there in the rankings. Hasn't even wrestled yet.
If they figure out a way to have like weighted matches in a sense, like, oh, if you beat someone in the rankings, it means a lot more than when you beat a jobber, then that'd be one. No offense to those, they're not jobbers. They're just wrestlers who are young and they are getting a payday. They're not
trainees.
Jobbers. Because like that would be me calling Lee Moriarty one, and that's not true.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I take it back.
That's fair.
But like the rankings are like my one pet peeve because they should somehow make sense, but at the same time they're impossible to make sense.
Yeah, no, it's kind of frustrating how they make sense, they both don't make sense at the same time. Danielson Omega, I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to see how that comes out, despite the rankings. Do you think that is for there's conversations about what can WWE do? Is focusing on sort of like rankings and focusing on that sort of aspect, whether or not they gimmick it, do you think that's something WWE can do to make their product better? Maybe that's, I guess, the ultimate question. Can WWE be better if it acts more like AEW, or if they lean more into what they're going for, which is big guys, where the big boys play, and just leaning more into that energy?
You know what WWE can do? I think it actually goes hand in hand with the rankings in a way, is save big matchups. I think that's something that they have been doing terribly on television, especially. Like you have Damian Priest, and I'm not like the biggest Damian Priest fan by any means, but you put Damian Priest versus Sheamus on TV, and then you do the match at SummerSlam. Like you could have easily built that up, old school way, number one contenders match that he wins, and then you get that match. Instead, you're doing it multiple times to get to a title match. Mm-hmm. That's not how you're supposed to do it. And the matter of it all is that it's just you need to fill 3 hours of Monday Night Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown. So it's nearly impossible for you to hold off on all these big matches because you don't want to embrace being like a Dark Elevation some weeks, or even Dynamite, because once in a while we will get one of those helpful talents from Dark Elevation to go on AEW and face Thunder Rosa, for example. Like that is something we've seen on Dynamite, and saving big matches makes your pay-per-views better. It can make your TV better. And here's the one thing I think WWE still does really well. When they have a story that they want to actually believe in, it can still be good. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns right now, money. It's everything that good WWE can be, because you have the Paul Heyman effect. You have, just all these things that eat right into it. Brock Lesnar's, a farmer-looking scary man. Like that, just that alone should be money-making. But then you have like the laziness of just bringing the demon back without any explanation.
I hate that so much.
Like,
it's so frustrating.
I love the demon character.
Sure.
But there was no break to me in all of this after seeing what Finn has done for the past year and a half where he's like, oh, I need it now. Like, it was just like, oh, I got beat up once and I'm pissed, so here we go.
I lose one match and I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta be the demon again.
And I think Finn is a guy, like, I actually wanted to ask you this question.
Sure.
Because, you know, we've had the Danielson and Adam Cole, which, you know, to me is two of the biggest potential names you could take from WWE that were potentially able to leave. So who to you do you think are, I actually asked this in the group chat, but I think this is a good conversation for the show.
Sure.
Is who are, you know, 2 or 3 people you think that could believably leave WWE for AEW and be massive additions and actually cripple WWE? Because I think Cole and Danielson are exactly that.
I agree. I definitely agree to Cole and Danielson. You know, not necessarily completely correlated with WWE, but I would throw CM Punk in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though he's obviously hasn't been in that company for 7 years. I think a Finn Balor type can do so. The problem with Finn Balor though is cripple WWE. I don't necessarily think so because I don't. To be honest, I don't think Finn Balor is that big of a character, important character for WWE.
Right.
I
agree.
I think the Demon is as important to WWE as Braun Strowman was. And you can maybe, which is like, he's pretty important. We'll push him up, but at the end of the day, we'll just cut the guy. So who cares?
Ryan just pretty much said, "Fuck you, Finn Balor."
I think he's great. Look at NXT. Look at that NXT run. Top tier stuff the entire time. Gets up to the main roster and he's just immediately schlacked into the Demon. So I would say Finn Balor could be something. I think
AJ
AJ
to add though, it's a main event, like, you know, match. Like, it's not
Fair.
like he's not in the main event, but I totally understand.
Fair. AJ Styles, I think legitimately, I think he could be a crippler. I think he could definitely do that. I would put any four horsewoman into AEW. Huge needle push for AEW, but just a big, because obviously WWE's main roster is just focused on the four horsewomen, and we just write the stories around them.
Yeah.
So I think you pick up any of them, and I think there is some legitimacy to, at some point, one of the four leaving WWE and going to AEW or somewhere else.
AEW is gonna get the one that nobody wants. You can figure out who I'm talking about.
But it's just, I don't. The things that WWE need to do is they need to properly support their wrestlers, right? At the end of the day, because there are, like Daniel Bryan said, or Bryan Danielson at this point, he likes working there, but he still was like, nah, I think it's a good idea to leave. There are probably other people in that roster that's like, well, I like working here, but, you know, I can make the same money. I can maybe go out of my comfort zone, make the same money, work less dates for another company. I have already friends over there as well. Mm-hmm. Why don't I just go over there? You know, it's going to hurt them. I mean, whether it be going to AEW, whether it be even going to Impact, which they're more and more as...
Whoa.
Well, hold on.
I don't think anyone's like, you know what? I need to leave here to go to Impact. I don't think anyone has ever said
Hey,
that.
man, Ric Flair was like, I'm leaving WWE. I'm going to NWA with my boy Trevor Murdoch, which was great. That was a great moment from NWA. But it's like, but what I mean to say is, as more and more of these cuts come from WWE, AEW is not going to pick up everybody. Impact is going to get some of these signings. NWA is going to get some of these signings.
Ring of Honor, baby.
Ring of Honor. I know what you're doing, baby. Come on, let's pick up some people.
Hey, they added Jake Atlas and Tyler Rust.
Did they? Oh, I didn't even see this.
That is a match for Death by Dishonor.
Uh-oh.
They made that a match.
Whoa.
Well, I like both of them. I think they could actually have a good match.
No, that E is we're about to preview the thing and I had no idea what was happening.
So there's roster moves like that. A Ring of Honor, I think, can make compared to AEW. Like they can bring in the Jake Atlas, they can bring in the Tyler Rust.
Those are great picks, by the way.
Perhaps the Bronson Reed, like guys like that aren't necessarily going to move a needle or anything, but they're good additions for what I think Ring of Honor has in a good roster.
And what Ring of Honor can use. I mean, Tyler Rust in the
right.
Pure promotion.
Right. Like Impact, like that's why we think Bray Wyatt would be a good fit there. And then NWA, I'm not going to say anything about them because they pay Tyrus.
Fair.
That being said, my one name that I think does cripple WWE, besides all the names you said, which were all agreeable, is Kevin Owens. I think he is the big name for a lot of people because what Kevin Owens has been for them is, one, a top star since day one. Two, he has fit every single mold they need.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Like, he is the ultimate player in a sense. He can be a babyface. He can be the best heel. Like, bar none, he can be the best heel. And I think his misusage or underutilization is what will, one, make him leave, and two, some of his best friends are in AEW, which is why him and Sami Zayn leaving together makes the most sense, because Kevin Owens is a good example of, I love working for WWE. I love what they've done for my family, but I need to be a part of this. That is, he is in the Bryan Danielson situation. He's not Bryan Danielson, but he's just a step below, and Kill or Mount Rushmore, whatever you want, is a wonderful idea and wonderful thing to think about when it comes to AEW in, say, I don't know, 6 months.
It's also very funny that like they do the Adam Cole bit, and that as soon as Adam Cole arrives, there's like news about like Kevin Owens contract coming to an end. Hopefully, he's kind of thinking about doing this. It's like, oh man, the hype machine is I don't know if they're doing. I'm not saying that anyone's doing it on purpose. I'm just saying the coincidence is there, and the hype machine is back in rotation. But that's also the point. What can WWE do? I think they got to make their roster happy to be there, because now they're starting to lose people that even like working there.
Oh, you know what they need to do? They need to push a young upstart like, I don't know, Adam Cole. Oh wait, he's not there anymore.
That news. I assume you saw that news about Adam Cole. That news. That news of Adam Cole being like, yeah, we're gonna turn Keith Lee heel. Terrible idea.
Poor Keith Lee. I love Keith Lee.
I think he could work as a heel, but you don't do that. And then put Adam Cole. But I think that, apparently the rumor was that this was Vince's idea. Like, it goes to show that like Vince has said that he apparently behind the scenes likes Adam Cole, yet he sees him as a manager. Like, it's like, oh, okay, so that's kind of where we're at in this sort of this lineup. And it's just like, I'm concerned that I'm not sure there is anything left for WWE to do.
Yeah. Okay. So with Keith Lee, I don't know if they remember the last time he was on TV, but he was getting cheered like crazy.
Yeah.
When he beat Karrion Kross. Like, they mattered for a second. And I think Keith Lee's a guy that everyone wants to cheer. And like you said, the fact that they're even considering turning him heel tells me a lot about creative, tells me a lot about the blindness that they have as a company still. Because Keith Lee, to me, was the perfect person to strap the rocket to and send to the top. Adam Cole, I feel like we can all agree, was the perfect person to do that. I know a lot of people don't necessarily love Adam Cole matches, or at least Adam Cole NXT matches. Towards the end, more so than anything. I think we can all agree that, him versus Gargano was pretty solid, and him versus Aleister Black is, I feel like a lot of people forget about that match, him versus Ricochet. The list goes on and on of matches and importance that Adam Cole had. But in the end, Adam Cole is a star. Like, his promos that he's been doing on AEW are all legitimate. He has been around for 14 years, I think he said. And he has been at the top of every promotion he's been in. Like there is a reason. Even NXT, like that's the perfect note. He made it in WWE, like when NXT was still at its height. He was the world champion, I think, when they reached their most popularity. Of course, that ultimately faded, but that's not his fault. Like that's my whole thing. Like it's not his fault they faded, and WWE has a lot of work to do. Turning Keith Lee heel ain't the answer, and more Farmer Brock. There's your answer. You just need more Farmer Brock on television.
I'm interested in seeing Farmer Brock at least. I think the ponytail, man. The ponytail is just the
It's
killer.
amazing. I think everyone can agree. Like Brock just needs to do more things.
Yeah, I think Brock should grow out his hair longer. I want to see Brock with a full mane. I think that's the look.
I don't know about that one.
I disagree. Is that what? I don't know. I don't have anything. I think Brock is a good move. Rock we'll see eventually, I guess. I don't know. I'm concerned about bringing back all these part timers because
You know what they need to learn? They need to learn to care when it's not WrestleMania season. Like that's a big thing and they clearly do considering Brock is back now and not Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. But that's a big thing for me. Always has been, and I think that's just
you can tell if the people involved care or not.
I like that's why I like that. So sometimes I hate that AEW only has 4 pay-per-views, but that's because of a Danielson versus Omega situation where I'm like, okay, like I need to see this match on pay-per-view, but I don't know how you get to Full Gear without doing it because you got to it on the very first Dynamite. You were like, you know what, we're just gonna send it. So like that's when I complain that AEW doesn't have more than 4 pay-per-views, but at the same time, having 4 pay-per-views makes the product better as a whole.
Yeah, we still also on the horizon for AEW have those additional TBS shows or was TNT shows. I think they're in
special events.
Yeah, we still have those on the horizon, so we'll see how that plays out as well. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next topic here. Stardom still going on. We're talking about it like halfway through the 5-star Grand Prix. If you don't know about Stardom, obviously, Stardom, that 5-star Grand Prix is sort of like the G1 Climax, which is also announced recently. But Stardom's doing it first. Stardom's doing it first.
I guarantee you it's a lot better than watching Chase Owens. I promise. I promise. It is so much better than watching Tama Tonga versus even like Tanahashi. Tanahashi cannot save every match, people.
Dude, you don't want to watch 20-30 minutes of Chase Owens versus Toru Yano ever again?
I didn't because I heard about that and I was like, yeah, not a chance.
Yeah, that was. I watched it.
The main event.
Yes, that is accurate. I
actually loved that main event because it was so quick.
Yes. But Stardom, they are doing the Grand Prix right now. I have my current standings up to day 10. I know they had another show for us this morning. So I don't have those standings just in yet. But I want to talk about what we have so far. Last time we kind of did a letter grade, but I think we should probably. Well, I guess we'll get to it when we talk about the leaderboard. So we just want to go through real quick. We don't have to do letter grades, just like quick thoughts about all of these wrestlers.
Yeah, sure.
Why are you so down, Scotty?
Because Julia's out.
Yeah,
I'm sad.
We'll get to her certainly.
I need to just say to everyone, like, first of all, watch Stardom. I can't say that enough. 2, I'm a very like big fan of women's wrestling, and you and me had this conversation yesterday of like what's taking so long with Western fans. I don't have the complete answer, but I think you had the perfect idea of like the Attitude Era still is in a lot of people's minds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like, listen, these folks are putting on just as good matches as anyone in the world. I don't think gender matters when it comes to great wrestling. And my best example is you watch some of the top matches from this tournament, and you will be believing how great they can be. But yeah, we can get to it.
Let's start off with the bottom of the leaderboards this time. So we're gonna start at the bottom of the red block. I believe the red block is the B block. I think.
It's just the red block.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no B or A.
cage match has an A or B, and sometimes that's trying to define cage matches issues. So starting at the bottom, maybe obviously or not, Fukigen Death at the bottom of the leaderboard for A block or red block. Sorry, I Fukigen Death is a perfectly fine wrestler to be put in all of these spots. I'll say it. I enjoy Fukigen Death more than I enjoy Toru Yano, because I think Death does.
I thought you were gonna say something totally offensive to me.
I
when you
think
said it.
I think Fukigen Death is better than Kevin Owens. I think what Death does in the role to me is way better than Yano, and I think not only did I think Death do the role better, but I think the constant like evolutions of the Death character helps these sort of spots, because it's not just always the same thing. Now it's sort of this sad clown motif that I'm really enjoying.
That smokes in the middle of the ring.
I love the Natsupoi spot where Natsupoi grabs a water gun and sprays out the fake cigarette.
See, my big thing with like Stardom is that you can get like these very entertaining, not so serious matches, and then you can get the serious matches as the show goes on. And I think Fukigen Death is the perfect example of getting that.
I agree.
But and it's funny. I don't know how many people know this, but like the wrestler that is Fukigen Death is Kaori Yoneyama, who's actually like insanely good at the wrestling part of all this. Like she is so good, but in Stardom only, she is these wonderful Death characters that are strictly there to entertain the masses in variously odd ways, whether it be death to death and then running into the corner and getting hit, then getting angry and kicking the corner, and it's so much fun.
I should say also Fukigen Death at the bottom of the block with 2 points. She has 1 win over Himika, a bunch of losses, but she's got only 4 at the time of day 10. 4 matches left to wrestle. Really 3 matches. She'll get 2 free points from a Julia match. We'll get to that more. Next up, also with 2 points, actually defeating Julia herself during the tournament, Saki Kashima. I don't know why I said Kashimi. Kashima. She's got a win over Julia, and she's got about 5 matches left in the tournament as well. Thoughts on Saki?
I enjoy Saki where she is on the card. I think she's there to pull off an upset here or there with her revival pin. There's no complaints. I have no complaints for anyone in this tournament, to be fair. I'm going to say that. Like, I think everyone fits a role rather well. It's just a matter of if they're being used correctly.
Sure.
And Kashima does not need more than like 6 points. So we are on track to be in the right spot.
I was gonna say, do you think who do you think is gonna be the bottom of the block, Death or Kashima? Because Death is gonna get 2 more points and be at 4 after the Julia schedule.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it looks like it could be Kashima. Lower.
Well, let's move next up, going up the ladder here. What we talked about her last time was at the top of the leaderboard, Mina Shirakawa. 4 points. She has a win over Kashima and Death, so that's a good spot to be, I guess. With 4 matches left, how do you think Mina has been this tournament so far?
I have never ever like went out there and said I'm a Mina Shirakawa fan. That being said, she has had like 3 straight matches that have been good.
Yeah, if
not really good. Like she's with Starlight Kid, who I think Starlight Kid's just on another level from a lot of people anyways.
Yeah.
Hameka and Julia. I think she had some very good none of them are long, like, so they're very easy watches. I think they're like the longest might be 8 minutes, but very entertaining. She's kind of fighting with some fire that I've never really seen out of Mina Shirakawa. And that's a good sign for her, because I think anyone that follows Stardom knows she's not going to be the Wonder of Stardom champion or the World of Stardom champion. Like, she's at the highest level she'll ever be at probably right now, as 1/3 of the artist champion. She was the future champion, so good for her, good showings, and that's all I can really ask for out of these bottom couple.
Yeah, she's a solid prelim wrestler that if you give the tap on the shoulder, she can. This might sound like a weird comparison, but stick with me. I do this a lot, so I have weird comparisons. What did I compare? Who did I compare earlier?
Yano and Fukigen Death.
No, but did I compare someone to Finn Balor? Braun Strowman. Finn Balor.
Yeah, no, the demon.
I have weird comparisons here. Mina to me is a lot like Taguchi in New Japan. And the reason I say that is that Mina is going to be someone that's not necessarily going to be pushed all the time anymore. She's sort of up there in age for this promotion.
Anymore. For like a year.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, like
mean,
in a wrestling landscape.
She had her push.
Yes. And but despite all those sort of things, she's sort of the prelim kind of person. You give her the tap on the shoulder, and I think she can deliver a solid match. Like I really enjoyed that Starlight Kid match from her. I thought she put in a great performance there. And I just think that she is someone that, like I said, tap on the shoulder. She can step up and step into a spot. I don't think that spot will ever be like a world title run, but I think she can do something.
If that happens, then something went terribly, terribly wrong. And that's not a shot at Mina Shirakawa, but they have so much talent right now that, like, if they went with her, I'd be like, what are we doing?
That's fair. Kaguma with 4 points has a win over Natsupoi and Starlight Kid as well. She's got a bunch of matches left, 6 matches, in fact. We've barely seen any of her.
Yeah, big time Koguma. You just messed me up. It's Kaguma. Big time run coming in the next 2 weeks. I think she wrestles on every show, which is kind of insane.
Probably has to at this point of 6 matches. Jesus.
That being said, Kaguma has been a wonderful addition to their roster. She fits the veteran bill really well, despite not necessarily being there for the past 5 years. Like, she just came back earlier this year, and I think she's only gotten better and better, and returned to form in a sense. Her match with Julia, incredible. I think that was probably her best match since returning to Stardom. And she has a big spot at the upcoming. Oh, for those who don't know, Stardom's running Osaka Joe Hall, kind of a big deal. And she will be fighting the returning Hazuki, so that's a very big spot for her, which is exciting. But love Kaguma. Good run so far. She's going to have to start losing a bit because right now she's on tap to win the whole thing, seeing that she has 6 matches left.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, she has potential to win it all. I mean, she's probably going to get a win over Death, I have to assume. Iwatani, probably not. Watanabe, probably not. But, yeah, she's got as much matches as Aroha has. So I'm very interested to see where she goes moving forward. Himika, moving forward as well. 4 points. Win over Shirakawa and Natsupoi. A loss to Death and Iwatani. What weird opposites there. She's got about 5 matches left. One of those matches being a Julia match.
It hurts every time you say it. Himeka, over the past year, has very much improved. And her improvement, especially in this tournament compared to last year, where, I don't know, for those who don't know, she got to the finals last year. It's very great to see because she's a very unique styled wrestler for them. Her nickname is the Jumbo Princess, so she is like one of the bigger roster members. She's very tall, and she wrestles at a speed with some intensity that I think is very good for her. And down the line, she could have one of those top titles. I'm not saying she probably will anytime soon because there's just, again, so many different people to go with right now.
Yeah.
But she's had a good tournament since the Mayu match.
My audition for a replacement host for 5-star Joshi podcast is not going well, is it? I'm getting all the names wrong.
It happens. We all get the names wrong. I called Gambar Pro. It's actually Gambari Pro the other day. Like it's whatever. It just happens. You gotta hear it once, and then ultimately you'll get there.
That's fair. Natsupoi with 5 points. Got a win over Watanabe in death, and 3 losses on her name as well. 1 draw with Starlight Kid. Again, Natsupoi has 3 matches left, one of which is going to be Julia. So we're going to see her at least get to 7 points, which would tie for the lead right now. So can she get a win over Kashima and Shirakawa and turn it all around and win the whole damn block?
Can she win the whole damn block? Not a chance. Can she get both of those wins? I think possibly. Natsupoi is very good. If anyone has not watched Natsupoi versus Tam Nakano from earlier this year, that's my recommendation. Or you could watch Natsupoi versus Starlight Kid from 2 weekends ago. Yeah, that sounds right. Natsupoi is great, and I love Natsupoi. She's one of my favorite to watch. One of the most consistent wrestlers in the world in terms of giving it your all most matches, which is always something you can appreciate. Good showing. She's not going to win the tournament, but good showing.
Yeah, I think she's done a solid bang up job. I think we're obviously with 3 matches, or I guess technically 2 matches left. We're not going to see much of her left, so I'm going to kind of sad to see her go, I guess, in that sense, because I think she's been a great job all tournament.
Yes.
Moving right along, Julia. The big news, obviously, coming out of Julia is that she was injured, causing her to be out for I forget the certain amount of month time here. I believe
it's 7 shows, which is actually just the next 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
For now, we don't know any further.
Fair point. But because of at least 2 weeks being gone, that means she's going to be out the rest of the 5-star Grand Prix tournament. So she officially ends at 6 points. So obviously the bigger news here is not necessarily her performance, but her performance has been great, I think. The bigger news is, one, thoughts on the injury. Hopefully, obviously, we get better. But 2, also, what does this mean that Julia is now out of the tournament?
Man, I've been spending like 3 days in a row talking to people about this. I've recorded things about this. If you didn't know, Julia was like the odds-on favorite to win the 5-star Grand Prix. Go on to face Utami Hayashishida for the World of Stardom Championship and win the championship. So now that she's out and effectively eliminated, like she's already has less points than people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's easy to push off that match with Utami because Julia is the wrestler that if you had her come out and just challenge someone and say, "Listen, I want the match now," you would believe it because that's who she is. That's her personality. But booking the rest of this tournament now is like, what do they do? Who do they go with? Because this is likely going to be the main event of Osaka Joe Hall. You're going to have Utami, who, one of the best champions in all of wrestling. So that's not the worry. But the worry is, how do you make a story that makes sense? How do you make there is a story that makes sense. There is one story that makes all the sense in the world. If they don't go with it, I will be kind of shocked. But it's just really sad because I think Julia has long deserved this spot. She has become the complete wrestler that I think a lot of people wanted her to be. I know you enjoy her work for someone that doesn't necessarily watch every Stardom match, but she's really good at dropping people on their heads. So what's not to love there? Julia will be fine. I'm sure of it. She'll hopefully be back when these 2 weeks are up. But man, it really upsets me long term because now you have a booking problem of, for those who don't know, the finals happen the same day as the final day. So whoever wins their block will then have a second match in the main event at Oda Ward to be crowned the 5-star winner. And it was supposed to be Julia versus Momo on that last day, which everyone firmly believed that would be the deciding match. Now that that's not happening, Momo gets the point,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just fighting Hannon and Lady C. So unless Momo is going to win the damn thing, which I'm not 100% sure of, you can't have her go to the finals after wrestling those two and lose. You know, like that can't be possible, because then she kind of looks like a jabroni after, say, Shiri or Takumi Roha kill each other because they're wrestling on the last day and then somehow beat the Red Stars block winners. So you have a lot of booking problems here. But first and foremost, wishing Julia the best, and good luck to Stardom booking the rest of this. I firmly believe they can figure it out. I have my own idea of what to do, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, I think the most obvious pick is someone. Obviously, Stardom's gonna have to pick someone else that's in the top three. I don't think Natsupoi will have enough points to be able to get into the winning circle. So you got someone in the top three. Starting at number 3, I think a solid pick to maybe win the whole block here. Mayu Iwatani, 6 points as well. Obviously, a win over Julia Natsupoi and Himeka. Himeka. While having 5 matches left, all matches that she can more than likely probably win. So thoughts on Mayu's turn here, and also the percentage chance you think that she can win the whole block.
Mayu makes a lot of sense to win the block and lose in the finals. She makes a ton of sense because Mayu is one of the few wrestlers in the world, I think, that can lose a big match and not be affected because she's at that level of greatness. Her versus Starlight Kid is the final day match, which carries a lot of story, but at the same time, I think that should be the decider now that Julia is out, instead of having Momo look like a jabroni on the last day, which I just don't want to happen as a Momo fan. I think that makes a lot of sense because you could send either one of them to the finals, they can lose, but if Starlight Kid gets to the finals, instantly elevated. Like, that's the whole thing there. And if you send Mayu to the finals, it's Mayu. Like, that's not a bad choice ever. It's a safe choice. It's a smart choice. 2 Mayu matches is better than 1, in my opinion. So that is a good out for them in the Red Stars block.
And especially a safe choice for main eventing Osaka Joe Hall. I mean, obviously Starlight Kid, I think, will do a great job. Yes. Yeah, I think Starlight Kid will do a great job, but if she wins it all, I think Mayu is a solid, safe choice to do Mayu versus Utami at Osaka Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's only one match you should do in that main event because it just makes too much sense. But we will get to the Blue Stars block in a bit.
Fair point. Second on the leaderboard here for the red block, Starlight Kid. We just talked about her. 7 points here. With win over Kashima, Death, and Shirakawa. Got a draw against Natsupoi. She's got 3 matches left. Iwatani, Watanabe, and Himeka. I'm never going to get it right. Starlight Kid, possibility to totally win the red block here. She just has to beat... I think she has to beat...
the 3 remaining favorites to represent the block, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, right? Does she have to beat all of them to win this thing? Maybe.
Mathematically,
it's tough because everyone has like so many different matches left to wrestle.
She has to beat 2 of them.
Yes.
I think that goes without saying. She has to beat 2 of them. She definitely has to beat Mayu, and then I think you could toss in either Himeka or Momo, and it will be interesting because the beauty of Starlight Kid is she has the high speed style, like, surprise pin. Like, she has one of those now, so that's how you can beat one of them very easily. It doesn't hurt them, you know. Starlight Kid would be, I think, a great choice actually to make it to the finals. It'd be a huge spot, absolutely massive spot for her, so quickly. But the way she's working right now, I can't see her failing. So, yes.
If Starlight Kid, she's got 7 points. If she wins all of her matches, she gets up to 13 points total.
That's a winning number.
Mayu has 6 points, 5 matches left. Mayu just has to win 4 of those matches to beat Starlight Kid. And one of those matches includes Starlight Kid. So
It's very interesting. Could come down to that last day.
definitely could. Definitely
Probably
could.
will.
I like that idea of well, it's not going to happen if Starlight's the last match actually, because she just has to win 4 of the matches.
Well,
And I think she can easily.
Mayu.
I think Mayu can easily beat Death, Kashima, Shirakawa. These are all unless someone plays spoiler.
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
There we go. Going straight into the top of the leaderboard right now at 8 points. Momo Watanabe. Momo, match-wise, has 6 points, but I guess got those 2 free points with Julia out of action.
Yes.
Momo has 4 matches left. Starlight, Kagama, Shirakawa, and Haymaker.
Yes, a lot of intriguing ways to go with Momo because, like, clearly her being at the lead now, one makes it clear she should probably be the block winner. But again, it's that last day thing where it really changes how I personally look at it, because unless she's winning the whole thing, like, that's fine. If you're going to have her do that match and then win the whole thing, great. But I don't necessarily think that's the case. I don't think they run back Utami versus Momo right now. It just doesn't make all the sense in the world. But I would not complain if Momo won it all, seeing she is one of my absolute favorites. But there are matches in there that I could see her losing. So that's very notable. And I think probably one has probably changed because she was probably going to lose to Julia that last day. So, you know, you can make the likes of a Hameka beat her and no one will bat an eye.
Yes, I totally agree. I think one of the there's not many positives that come out of an injury, obviously. I'm not saying that. I do think, though, that one of the positives coming out of it is that because it is an injury to Julia, someone that everyone pegged as a possible winner of not just the block, but the entire tournament, it, to me, makes this block, the rest of the nights in this block, super exciting. Must watch, because it's like, I have no clue. We could be getting spoilers left and right. Death could be going on a winning streak here. Did you hear that? Did you hear my cat there just now?
Oh, I sure did. I thought someone got attacked.
Me too. I was like, Tucker, what was that? Tucker agrees. Tucker thinks that Death is going to go on a run here. So we could be seeing spoilers. We could be seeing like the tough booking options of going with one person versus another. It makes it all very, very interesting to watch, and for me, very, very much a must-watch opportunity here.
It wouldn't be shocking if someone won this block with 5 wins.
Yeah,
like that's how close I think we're gonna have to get down to it in the end. But yeah, exciting. Let's get to the Blue Stars block, which is the block with a lot of potential now that Julia is out, believe it or not.
correct. Starting at the bottom of the block, of course, Ruaka, 0 points. Hasn't got a win yet, but obviously that makes sense. 5 matches left. Will Ruaka get 2 points?
Probably not. I think she fits her role perfectly in this tournament. She's had some good quick matches, and there's no complaint from me. She does her role well.
Azame, 2 points. I was kind of surprised you only got 2 points, I'll be honest. With a win over Shiri. She's got 5 matches left. I think she can definitely pick up some more points, but thoughts on her?
Yeah, she's got to pick up a couple more points. She has like been in the top like 3 before, I'm pretty sure, in terms of 5-star points are concerned. So like it would make a lot of sense for her to pick up a big win in the coming weeks, as well as probably, one over Ruaka and then another over someone else. So I think she can get to 8 points and everyone should be okay with that.
I agree. I think a possible victory over Nakano makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see her necessarily beating Hayashishida.
No.
No, yeah. Ruaka, obviously, she'll get a point. She'll get some points there. Konami, maybe.
Yeah, she could upset Konami, who just decided this past weekend she was God.
Yeah, that's my maybe. That's my maybe is maybe.
I have no idea what we're doing with Konami, but you know what? It's fine.
Moving up the ladder boards. Speaking of Konami adjacent, Takumi Oroha, 4 points. She has got a win over Micah Nakano. Lost to Konami. I was not expecting that loss there. 6 matches left, so a lot more opportunities for her to climb the leaderboards. But thoughts on her so far in the 3 matches you've seen?
She is just one of the best. It's just apps. She had she needed her knee completely like reconstructed and fixed. Like her knee blew out less than a year ago, and now she's back doing what she's doing, absolutely just murdering these poor stardom wrestlers and just moving on in her life like nothing happened. Like she's one of my favorite wrestlers because every movement she makes, everything she does has meaning. I think that's something that not a lot of wrestlers do. Like she's very I tweeted out this week, like she's always moving in the sense that everything, she's always trying to do something. She's had a great tournament so far, and I think we have a potential match of the tournament on the final day between her and Shiri coming up. Because if you want to talk about 2 people that might kill each other, they are at the top of the discussion for that. But great so far, and she, by all accounts, is probably going to come in second or first, I think, in that block.
Definitely has the possibility to do that. Before, 6 matches left. Oh, geez. Definitely has the possibility to do that.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez. Unagi Sayaka, 5 points here. She's got a win over Azumi and Nakano. She has a draw against Micah, which that match was crazy to watch.
I talked to someone that was like days removed from it, had no idea they went to a draw, and he was like, "What is happening?" He's like, why did she go to a draw with Micah?
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know.
I was surprised by that. I love though that image of Micah, just the streak of blood coming from her mouth, almost like a grin coming from her mouth up her almost hairline.
That's because Unagi listened to me and added the big boot to the arsenal. She first big boot she does and just absolutely destroys the poor woman's mouth.
Oh my god, the reputation to the boot. Sayaka, I think she's got 3 no, I'm looking at the wrong person. She's got 4 matches left. Obviously she'll pick up some more wins against Ruaka. I don't know if she'll necessarily get into the top part, but I think she'll probably end up somewhere on the top half of the block here.
Stardom, aka Rossi Ogawa, loves Unagi Sayaka. People, you have to understand, she is going to win one of those top belts very soon. She may not be the best in-ring wrestler, but everything she does, you can feel like she has that star power about her. Mm-hmm. She can be annoying at times, which I think is part of the idea behind her. Like the entire roster doesn't like her unless you're Cosmic Angels. So like that's an interesting little thing for me. She's had a pretty good tournament, all things considered. Like she's definitely not the best wrestler in the tournament. She's probably on the lower half, but you know, when it comes down to it, she's had some good showings. I don't need another draw for her. We don't need 20 more minutes of Unagi. And Shuri's probably going to kill her tomorrow, so that's tough.
I just want Unagi to get draws from here on out. Every match a draw, even Ruaka.
That would be terrible.
That'd be hilarious. What are you talking about? It'd be hilarious. Shuri.
Ruaka!
Shuri with also 5 points. She has got a win over Micah and Kamatani. Lost to Azumi and Konami, but a time limit draw to the champ, Hayashi Shida. Shuri's got 4 matches left, so I definitely think she can pick up some more wins. Thoughts on Shuri? More important, Mike. I don't know why I said Mikey. I think I did that last week. More important, Scotty. Thoughts on Shuri and Hayashi Shida's match?
The match itself, I think it's exactly what it needed to be. So you're going 20 minutes. You are living up to a match that is in like the atmosphere of everyone wants to see what you can do. Like there was a lot of pressure
Yeah.
in that one.
Yeah.
And you're going to go to a draw. You only have 20 minutes. You're not in the same environment that you were for the first one. All things considered, I think they did a very good job. It wasn't the best match of the tournament. Wasn't anywhere close to their title match. That being said, it felt like a different match, like it needed to be, like more of a kind of a sprint. Like they opened up just absolutely destroying each other with I think it was forearms or something.
Yeah.
And they had like a sick bump where Shuri went to kick Utami and just got caught in the outside for a nasty power bomb. Like these two get it
Yeah.
together. And this is where I say there has to only be one winner, I think, in the 5-star Grand Prix now with Julia out, and it has to be Julia. Like after that match, they said, listen, we need to go to a no time limit. We have to have a no time limit match. We need to decide this. We need to figure out who is the better one. And you have Shuri win the block. You have her win the tournament. You make that the Osaka Joe Hall main event. You have every possible eye on that match that you'll ever have, possibly on your biggest show ever. Like that is what you're doing here. And I think that would be the best plan of action.
Completely agree. I almost like it. Obviously, wasn't the same match as the title match previously, but I almost felt like this match was a good like appetizer.
Yes.
For the eventual match that we're all expecting will happen. I agree.
They're gonna kill each other.
I completely agree. I think this story of their matches is longer than 20 minutes. I don't think the story of their matches can be summed up, before 20 minutes. So a time limit completely made sense to me. I think Shuri 100% should be the winner here. She's gonna have. She's right now on these day 10 standings, the middle of the block. She's got 4 matches left. She's maybe has to win all of them. Now, if I look at the math,
it's gonna come down to what they do with Hayashishita and Aroha, because I don't know how many more people beat Utami. I think Takumi is actually a good choice, because I think you could easily give her a title match and have her lose.
Sure.
But she also beat Tam, so then there's the aspect of like, are you going to give her that title match? So it's a weird little thing there. But Shuri I think she has to win out based off like the current booking. I actually thought Shuri winning this match would have been a good idea, but once Julia was announced out, that kind of defeated the purpose in my eyes. Like the draw made way more sense.
Agreed.
Because now you go to that final match. They've entered like the New Japan style of epic. Like that's what they're going to do. And I think their first match was that style, but like now with no time limit, they're going to go a long time. They are going to have a lot of pressure, but I think Shuri, of all people in Stardom, is on a different level than everybody else, which is a lot to say. And Utami, I don't think has had a bad title match outside of the unfortunate ending to the Natsuka Tora match, which is not really anyone's fault. It's just that happened the way it did. So very exciting to see how they get there, but Shuri has to win this tournament.
I agree. Speaking of Utami, she's next up on the block here. 5 points. She's got 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, obviously. 5 matches left to go for her, so I definitely Shuri's got to win a lot more matches than Utami has to win. So there's I think you're right. I think there's at least 2 more losses for Utami coming. Maybe 1 more.
I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
Because they could go against, traditional booking, because Utami said, if I win, I'm picking Shuri. They could do that. They could have Utami Hayashishita, the world champion, win the tournament, which is against every sort of booking that I feel like any company does when it comes to their world champion tournaments. But it'd be different, and I wouldn't mind it. But at the same time, why would you do it? Because
what does that do for Shuri?
Right, exactly.
It doesn't really do anything.
Needs to win.
Because then if Shuri gets picked, then beats Utami for the title, then Utami looks like a fool.
Right, exactly. So it, I don't know who she. I think Aroha is a good shout for who she loses to, in remaining for Utami, because it's like, how do you get her to 3 losses? You need to get her 2 more losses if Shuri's gonna win out.
What about Konami?
Man, Konami really just said, you know what, fuck you all, I'm God.
I mean, Konami.
I'm gonna beat the 3 favorites.
I mean, well, we'll get to her, but I mean,
They did go to a draw actually, like 2 months ago, so that wouldn't be that crazy to have Konami beat her.
okay. I think if Konami is someone that like, look, we need somebody.
Yeah, if Konami beats her though, we're gonna have to get to the point of like you gotta give her a title match. She beat the 3 like top dogs, which is insane.
Completely agree.
That's a good shout though. Konami and Takumi maybe.
Yeah, I think I think those are both good. I think
it's hard to have someone beat a world champion,
because then the other 3 for Utami are Ruaka, she'll get the win. Azame, which
not gonna happen. It could because of the QQ ties.
That could be a fun upset. I guess.
But then you have to give her a title match, and that's not happening.
Well, you don't have to give her a title match if she loses the title. So
this is true. This is true.
Which has she beat? Azame did beat Shuri, so never mind then. That's the only win she has. Interesting. Tam Nakano, 6 points. She's got 3 wins, 3 losses, 3 matches left. So Nakano right there for everything. Her matches left are Haya Shishida, Shuri, and Azame. Thoughts on Tam's performance this 5-star?
That's how they're gonna do it. They're gonna have Tam and Haya Shishida go to a draw, and then Utami will lose one more time. That's how they do it. And then they'll have Takumi lose one more time, and then on the final day, it'll be Shuri versus Takumi to end it. And that's how you get to the finals. There we go. Tournament math, everybody.
We solved it.
But Tam's had an interesting showing in this tournament, because I think a lot of us know she can be great, but she can also not care and hold it back, which is fine, because I think you don't have to go out in every single match. Thankfully, she said, you know what, Takumi Rohat's worth going all out for. That was her best match of the tournament. I don't think it's close, because I think her match with Konami was a little bit of a letdown. For example, her match with Micah was probably her best match to date until Takumi. But Tam, she'll close out the show well. I think she should lose to Izumi, and that way you give her title matches with Sayaka, maybe Kamatani again, but I wouldn't do that. Aroha and Izumi, I think those would be good 3 before you maybe do the long-awaited Mayu Iwatani title match.
You brought it up before, but I think I like the possibility of a title match at Osaka Joe between Nakano and Aroha. I like that a lot. There's something about. I mean, you could probably do Unagi, but I think the Aroha match is probably.
Do you like Aroha? I don't know how much you've seen of her.
I've seen. I saw the Mayu match. Okay. I saw the Mayu match.
There's 2 of those.
I love that match. Of what I've seen for her so far, I'm kind of like, okay.
Which one did you see? The second or first from last year? Was it in the second half of the year or the first half of the year?
I don't recall. I can look it up for you though.
Because they're both great, but I think they're both very different, which is why.
Fair enough.
If you ever just want to watch Aroha murder someone, then you watch the first one. Because that's what she did to poor Mayu, who was the red belt champion at the time. I want to just put that out there. She was like, you know what? We're just gonna toss you.
We're just gonna go out there and frickin' do it.
That's all I asked.
Do it. But I do like the Aroha Nakano possibility. I think that's a solid title match to have at Osaka Joe.
Yeah, it's such an interesting card to book, because they're trying to reach the levels of All-Star Dream Cinderella from earlier this year, which was by far their biggest show ever in terms of card, because you had the Julia versus Tam hair versus title match. You had or hair versus hair title match.
Mm-hmm.
You had two legends of Stardom in Yoshiko and Nanae Takahashi return. You had a lot going on for that show. So how do you possibly, this is pretty much the 10th anniversary final celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you put that all together? I think Aroha versus Nakano is a great match. You have the return of Suzuki, which is a big match, no matter who she faces. Of course, that's against Kagama. You have to do something with Mayu. That I think that goes without saying.
Starlight Mayu might be a solid, just sort of fun.
I would toss that on there. Maybe they do it for the high speed belt because Kid has that. You can just put a title on the line. And then Utami versus Shuri as the, of course, main event would be very smart in my opinion.
The Aroha Mayu match I saw was latter half of the year in October, and the Goddesses of Stardom.
So you didn't watch the total murder of Mayu Utami?
No, I did not. But now I'm more intrigued to go find that out.
Which I believe is on YouTube for free.
I'll look that up. I will definitely look that up.
Which I think I tweeted 75 times, so I'll tweet it again if I have to.
Please. Third in the block right now, Saya Kamatani. I would argue maybe in a weird way a dark horse. I mean, we kind of solved the block here, but I think she's sort of a dark horse that could maybe win it. She's got 6 points. She's got 4 matches left. All people that I think she has a shot winning. For you. What, please? I'm gonna fail this so bad.
There's only been one person to ever win the Cinderella and 5-star in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Saya is trying to do that. Who do you think it was?
How ridiculous is it? Is it like a?
It's pretty ridiculous when you think of it. Like in Stardom history, you have some all-time women's greats in terms of Stardom, and it's not an all-time great.
I'm gonna go. The question is whether or not I know them.
It's exactly. You very much know them. It's a sense of are you able to somehow guess it?
I'm gonna guess. Is it Momo?
No. You want me to tell you?
Please.
You're never gonna get it. Tony Storm.
Oh yes, I do know that. Oh.
Yeah, what a wild.
I forgot that Tony Storm wrestled in Stardom for some reason.
Stardom fans try to forget that too, I'm told.
Yeah. Tony Storm, what happened to her? Where is she?
It's funny. Tony Storm is really good for like American wrestlers. Like she's not American, but like wrestling in America, I think she's quite good.
I agree.
But having her be the only person in the history of Stardom, a place where you have Io Shirai, Kairi Hojo, Mayu Iwatani, to name a few, and she's the one to only win both tournaments, is kind of just wild in my mind.
Completely agree. Moving right along to we didn't really talk about Saya too much, but
she's great.
I think she's great.
She's great. Yeah.
Do you think thoughts on her potentially winning the block? I mean, I think it's totally possible.
She won't, but she could. I don't think her final day match is massive, which is why, I think the only reason I think Konami could be a spoiler finalist is because her versus Micah is a pretty big match for that final day. That's how I look at how you book this. I think the same goes for people looking at the G1 often, is that it comes down to final day matchups. I know a lot of people are picking Okada or Jeff Cobb, for example, and they fight on the final day, for example. So I don't think Kamatani, off the top of my head, has a match with a potential winner.
I think, if anything, she'll probably win that match and then be the the spoiler person that's like, oh, if you don't win your match, I'll win it. That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good spot for her.
Especially with the going to try to get the Cinderella.
I think she's fighting Unagi. So no.
Right along, Micah, number 2. She's got 7 points. She's win over Ruaka Hayashishida, the champion, and Azumi.
She has 2 matches left.
According to what 2 matches? I got 3 matches here. I got Kamatani, Azumi, and Konami. Did you have? What was the? Did I miss one?
She already fought Azumi.
Oh, where did she? Oh, I do have Azame already written down here. Yes, she only has 2 matches left. That's my mistake. I have a misprint. Yes, 2 matches left. Kamatani and Konami.
Yeah. Mike has had a really good showing. I think for a lot of people, she's actually the MVP of the tournament. I think she's the only the MVP of the tournament so far because she's had the most matches. They've been good matches, most of them.
I agree.
But I think when it comes down to it, that will be Sherry's or Aroha's because they still have so many matches and then they've had great outings. But man, Micah is a future champion. No matter what title it is, I think she has shown that despite her very limited time in wrestling, she just gets it. And that's always a good sign.
Sky's the limit. Konami, number 1 on the block right now. Like you said, just out of nowhere, just shot up.
God.
Just shot up, Babe Ruth style. Just pointed to the thing. It was like, that's where I'm going. Boom, get out of here. She's got.
You mean Cameron Grimes style?
Oh, yes, my mistake, sir. She's got 4 wins, 2 losses, 3 matches left. Hayashishita, Micah, and Azame are the 3 matches there. Man,
Those could be some good matches. Wow, I like that.
Yeah, that's some sexy matches right there.
Konami was someone that I've been saying was lacking in this tournament in terms of like match quality, and then she said, again, I'm going to keep repeating this. I am God. I'm going to just beat the two of the no doubt favorites. And I think those were her 2 best matches. I thought her and Sherry worked really well, which wasn't shocking. And I think the way she won both matches was really well done.
I agree. I think Konami, I don't know. I just think Konami can do. She's not going to win it, but I think a win over, like a spoiler win over the champ, Hayashishita. I think that would be solid for her. And then the other losses, loss against Azame though. I don't know about that.
I could see Azame hit her with a little Azumi sushi.
Yeah, maybe. And Micah,
roll up.
I think Micah gets the win.
Also, Konami has been in the finals before. It wouldn't be crazy for her to get back to the finals. Just saying.
I agree.
She's not gonna, but it wouldn't be shocking.
It wouldn't be shocking, but I don't think she is the. I mean, we talked about Shuri. Oh well, could she be the match against Shuri?
I think she's gonna be the one that you were saying about Saya, where she's like, if you lose, I'm gonna get in. Because of the win over Shuri and Naroha. I think like that match, if it goes to the draw, Konami could get in, but they need to, of course, not go to a draw.
That's fair. Well, I'm excited to see the rest of this 5-star Grand Prix.
A lot of good matches left. That last day is going to be the day, of course, because
I
can't believe
I fan myself.
Have certain people wrestled twice. I just hope Shuri doesn't drop anyone on their head. She's gonna drop someone on their head.
Yeah, obviously this tournament, because of COVID protocols, because of injuries, it's starting to get a little cursed. Let's finish out clean, everybody. Let's finish out clean. There's a lot of nice matches coming up. Let's get there.
Yeah, losing Julia is a little terrifying because she's someone that seems to be willing to wrestle through a lot. So clearly, I was talking to someone and they said, well, maybe she just wasn't actually going to win the whole thing. And she was just like, yeah, just give them the points. I'll just rest. So I'm ready for the end of the year. Or she was going to win and she legitimately just has really bad injuries, which is what I think, because it takes a lot to pull these wrestlers out. And I think
Agreed.
that is.
I don't think Stardom is. I don't think Stardom is a kind of the promotion that will work an injury like that too much.
Right. No.
I think if they're like, I want to wrestle, they're gonna try to wrestle. All right. Well, you brought up something that I just wanted to talk about real quick, if you have a sec. The NXT Japan dissolved. Thoughts on Kairi Hojo returning to Stardom, if at all possible. We have no idea what's happening with her and her contract of Japan, NXT Japan, WWE Japan, WWE in general. Thoughts on that Forbidden Door opening?
It's not a forbidden door. That is a signing. If it comes down to it, I think if Kairi Hojo returns to Stardom, I mean a already stacked roster gets more stacked, and then I think there will soon be rumors of a certain NXT superstar possibly going back to Stardom, which I don't know if people understand Io Shirai's aura in Japan, but it at one time was considered the best women's wrestler in the world. I think even the likes of a Dave Meltzer went on tap to say that when she was in Stardom. So when it comes to Hojo, there's definitely a possibility. I have no idea how her contract works. If Nick Khan knows about it, there's a definitely great possibility by the end of next week, if someone wants to go send an email to Nick Khan and say, hey, you have this wrestler on your contract and you're not using her, so and that instant release if that's the case. So if Kairi Hojo goes back, I'll be very happy, but I will not get my hopes up, because then I would be sad in the end, and we don't want that.
I'm very intrigued. That would be a great reveal at Osaka Joe. Just have Kairi come out. Whew, man. I think we talked about eyes coming to the Stardom product. Kairi would do it. Kairi would bring some eyes.
Yeah, she would. She really would.
Let's move straight into our next topic here. Ring of Honor. They have a pay-per-view happening this Sunday, in fact.
Remember when you said we weren't going to make 2 hours, you liar?
I was concerned. But yeah, you came up with good topic ideas. I think we nailed it here.
First for everything.
Hey, man, I'm always nervous about these shows, because I'm always nervous that we're going to have too much to talk about or not enough to talk about. But I feel like we're nailing it here. I lost my spot. Maybe I'm not nailing it. Ring of Honor has a pay-per-view happening this Sunday, Death Before Dishonor. I'm very excited about this. We talked about this right before we started recording. I think Ring of Honor has been completely slept on by the wrestling world, and I get it, because there's probably still some disdain over the Marty Scurll stuff. People don't necessarily like the warehouse wrestling of no fans.
I don't think the Marty Scurll thing is Ring of Honor's fault. I mean, they took too long to make the cut official, but at the same time, they weren't running anything. So
yeah,
it's a weird
it's a whole weird
thing to blame them. Guys, you're watching WWE and AEW, and I don't like to air this out all the time, but they still employ Justin Roberts, for example. AEW does, and WWE still employs Riddle and someone else that I can't remember, probably NXT UK. My safe guess is they're probably Coffee, Joe Coffey.
I was about to say the entire NXT UK roster.
So my whole thing is, at the same time, if you're not willing to give Ring of Honor a chance because of that, something that they righted the ship on, then that's just unfair, in my opinion.
I mean, and that's also a fair point, because also New Japan was about to bring Marty Scurll back.
And they have Chase Owens.
Did you hear about that? Did you know about that Marty Scurll thing?
Yeah. I listen, Marty Scurll is going to come back. We all know eventually. So that's what I keep saying about Tessa Blanchard as well. Eventually there will be a company that bites the bullet with one of these guys. I think Marty Scurll is actually coming back already for some independent company.
Gross. Either way, Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. Speaking about Dishonor, nice. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor this Sunday, the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ECW Arena, baby.
Weren't they just there?
Yes, I believe they. It's hard. It's confusing, because almost every promotion right now is running 2300. It's either Florida, Texas, 2300, or just on a random spot elsewhere. But yeah,
Raw is here on Monday, and I am not going. I said I wanted to see good live wrestling finally, not Raw.
The only wrestling coming to Atlanta is the SmackDown that day one. Not even know if it's SmackDown that day
the day
one.
Yeah.
Which I'm do I even bother.
that I would probably go to that because it's a first time pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's
But at
fair.
the same time,
Yeah, so was Capital Punishment. It was a first time pay per view, and
hey, if we're gonna just keep naming first time pay-per-views, Great Balls of Fire was great.
it was great. Balls of Fire.
They gave you Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar.
This is true. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. We both want to talk about it, but we just keep one. Maybe that's the whole impetus of Ring of Honor right now is everyone wants to kind of watch Ring of Honor, but there's so many of other interesting topic points. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. Let's actually talk about it. Hour 1, they got the pre-show 15-man Honor Rumble match. Silas Young, Beer City Bruiser, Brian Malonis, PJ Black, Ray Horace, Sledge, Dak Draper, Brian Johnson, Danhausen, Joe Keys, and 5 other people left to be announced. Any thoughts? Is it going to be the secret? Who do you think is going to win?
It'll probably be a secret who wins. I think that's the best idea for the hour 1 show. I think that's always a smart little thing, especially leaving 5 unnamed. If it's Danhausen, we're going to have a problem. If it's I just said that. I know a lot of people love Danhausen. I am not one of them. With not having him in a world title match. And I think, based off the field, we know Silas Young is a good shout. I actually like Silas Young. I don't know if people dislike him. He's a guy that not a lot of people talk about. I think he's a good shout, but it's probably going to be one of those 5.
Yeah, I think Silas Young, I think, is fine. I think he's just a guy that's just been there forever, and so it's just he's there. I think it could be one of those 5. Do you think one of those 5 can be a new signing?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think
I don't know who's out there still.
Maybe someone like Alex Zane is a good one. I think Alex Zane could be an interesting title match for Bandito because the amount of flips and shit would be insane. I also think Alex Zane fits the current roster of Ring of Honor really well.
I could not find it anywhere. Do we know? Does this Hour 1 Rumble have a stip to it? Does it a title match or something?
Yes, you get a world title match, so that means a lot.
World title match.
Oh, man. Not a television title match. You get a world title match.
Oh man, a signing would be a great spot for someone then. I like an Alex Zane type. He's not signed anywhere technically.
Maybe they open the forbidden door.
Ooh, that's another interest. Maybe New Japan. Minoru Suzuki for the win.
I mean, he's everywhere else. Why not?
Why not? He's an indie darling at this point.
What the Ring of Honor Forbidden Door thing's so interesting because they still have the working relationship with New Japan by all accounts. Like, I haven't seen anything say they don't.
Yeah.
And they seem to be willing to work with everyone else finally because they're realizing, okay, what is the point of holding back when Impact and NWA of all people are like they're getting something from this. So Ring of Honor, just open your door. If you don't want to work with AEW, fine, but work with everybody else. I know why they don't want to work with AEW. It's because AEW pretty much is the reason they are like they are right now. So, it is what it is. But Forbidden Door stuff or a surprise signing would be cool.
I like both those ideas. I was gonna say Buddy Matthews. I think we don't know. The rumor is that he's gonna sign to Impact, but I like the idea of him in Ring of Honor.
He's a good fit either one, really. Yeah. I
think Ring of Honor would be a great spot for him, honestly.
Imagine keeping the name Buddy.
The thing he chose was Buddy. He did Matthews. I thought Murphy was the better part.
Yeah.
I guess you can't pick Murphy, I guess. I don't know. Going into the main card here, we'll start off with the singles match that I didn't know was announced, but I'm really intrigued by it. Tyler Rust versus Jake Atlas. Thoughts on this match?
I think they're both kind of like studs. I was actually excited to see what they could do long term in NXT, which clearly didn't happen. I was really shocked by the Tyler Rust release more than Jake Atlas, because I think Jake Atlas is the name, but Tyler Rust is a guy that I could have seen be a player in NXT. He had Malcolm Bivens, he was in Diamond Mine, like everything looked good for him long term. I think he is now a very intriguing option for Ring of Honor, whether it be in the pure division or television title to start off. Like, I think he'll be really great there. And Jake Atlas, I mean, he's so good. I feel like a lot of people forget how good he is because his time in WWE felt minimal. He would just kind of reappear once in a while. So these two have a lot to prove, and I'm expecting like a 10-minute just balls to the wall fun match. I'd actually have this open the main card.
I agree. Completely agree. I think Tyler Rust, the cutting of Tyler Rust makes sense just in terms of he's secretly 34 years old.
This is true.
So like with the people that he was cut with, a bunch of other old fogies, I thought like, oh man, I like Tyler Rust a lot. When I saw him in New Japan Strong, which I wouldn't be surprised if he returns there too. I thought he was great there. I think Ring of Honor is a great spot for him to land, especially with the pure division. Jake Atlas is the intriguing person there. Jake Atlas, slight buyer's remorse. Jake Atlas going to NXT instead of AEW, and now he's sort of bouncing around the indies. And maybe I don't think this is a landing spot for Jake Atlas, maybe because I haven't heard any talks about contracts here. But I think if he decides to stay in Ring of Honor, I think that's a good spot for him. I don't know if he's a world title kind of person, but or I don't even know if he's a pure title guy. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, against Tyler Rust. But I think him against your TV champion world with Dragon Lee and Tony Deppen and who's in the violence part? No, that's
Eli Isom.
Eli Isom? That match was actually pretty good, I'll be honest.
It was pretty good. I watched it last night. It was actually like, I was like, wow, Eli Isom.
Eli Isom's got something there.
I think he's a long-term building type of guy for them.
Correct. Completely agree. But I expect this match to be good. I hope Tyler Rust wins. That's my expectation. But
I think Tyler Rust wins because I think he's signing with them.
I agree. I think he's signing with them. I think he wins. I think he could be potentially the guy that goes against Gresham for the title.
You know who could win the Honor Rumble?
Who?
Bobby Fish.
Well, that'd be very intriguing because
that's Ring of Honor born and bred like that. He's not going anywhere else.
Yeah, but like Bobby Fish is the kind of guy that you have. He's the kind of guy that if like Jonathan Gresham wins, then Bobby Fish comes out. You know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm just saying Bobby Fish because that could be a good title match for. I'm assuming Bandito, but you never know.
You never know. Briscoes, Jay and Mark Briscoe moving into their tag team journey against Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, the OGK. Thoughts on this match?
I
thought Matt Taven put his career on the line. Was it just his title shot?
Yeah, it was just his title shot, I guess, clearly, because he's wrestling, so clearly it wasn't his career.
How dare you?
I
guess maybe that's more so me hoping.
So I like Matt Taven more than probably most people. It's mostly because he's from around my area, so like that instantly makes me a bigger fan. I saw him live at a Ring of Honor show. He was, he's beloved around here, of course. Yeah. But Mike Bennett's not very good. So like,
hey, but that Jonathan Gresham match was killer.
Well, we have to remember who he was wrestling, to be fair.
Fair point.
Like, Jonathan Gresham has like the Bryan Danielson type thing. Mm-hmm. I only say Daniel Bryan because that's what he was for the past decade. So leave me alone, everybody. But like he has a serious like ability to make people better.
Yeah.
And I think that I agree that match was very good. It's interesting though, because I think as a team, the Kingdom's very good. I think they have good chemistry together. And then the Briscoes, I think we can all agree, one of the best tag teams still in the world, despite, never leaving Ring of Honor. should be a good match. I'll say this. I think this card, top to bottom, is a very good card. Probably stronger than Best in the World. So
I can agree to that.
I'm excited. I think this match could be a low key, very good fight. I think I need to buy this pay per view. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just wait.
I'm definitely gonna try to watch it because I think this match is really.
Yeah.
I think this.
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, this pay per view looks pretty good. I don't know if this match. It's not gonna be the match of the night. I don't think.
No.
But I think it has a sleeper energy to it.
Yeah, it could be like 3 at the highest in terms of best matches, but sleeper is a good call.
Next up, Dalton Castle taking on Eli Isom. You and I are both impressed by the Dragon Lee Eli Isom match, that TV title defense on Ring of Honor television. Dalton Castle doing a lot of character work that I'm actually a really big fan of. I've actually enjoyed Dalton Castle recently. This sort of like weird heel.
I'm gonna take on Dalton Castle.
Oh, what's your take on Dalton Castle?
I love Dalton Castle's character, but I don't necessarily love his matches. I'm still pissed he beat Cody, to be fair. Like I'm still angry about that. Whatever. Which is funny because like I don't need much Cody nowadays. But back then I really liked Cody in Ring of Honor. That being said, this is a sleeper in my opinion because we've seen Dalton Castle have good matches. He's a former world champion, and dude, I'm telling you, Eli Isom, they got something here. Like Malcolm Bivens' big thing with Tyler Rust is the diamond in the rust. Well, this is a legitimate diamond in the rough. Like I think Eli Isom could be something for them.
Yeah, this storyline here with Dalton Castle is that like Dalton Castle's trying to bring something out of him, and I think we're gonna get more of that. Like if Dalton Castle is able to quote unquote bring something out of Eli Isom for that Dragon Lee match, 1-on-1 here, I'm expecting big things from Eli. My expectations for Isom here weirdly high.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird, but I'm actually looking forward to this. This card, I'm telling you, it's really good.
6-man tag team match, Violence Unlimited, Chris Dickinson and Homicide, your tag champions, and Tony Deppen taking on the amalgamation of John Walters, LSG, and recent AEW signee Lee Moriarty.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, this match should be pretty good at the very least. Lee Moriarty gets a chance to shine in Ring of Honor before he never is seen there again. Very weird, but I'm happy that Ring of Honor not Ring of Honor, AEW let him stay on the show. I think that's still a big spot for him because he hasn't been, despite being signed by AEW, he hasn't been on one of their main shows yet. So being on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view just before you probably appear on a Rampage or something is good. It's really good for him. And Violence Unlimited, man, like they're one of the reasons I watch Ring of Honor. Like I love their unit. They just have so many great professional wrestlers, and this should be really good, actually.
Yeah, I think Chris Dickinson has been great in this promotion. It's just a perfect fit for him. Homicide's there. Tony Deppen's also been great. Surprised he hasn't been signed yet. I think you're right. I think you're right in that Lee Moriarty getting this sort of shine before he goes on to AEW is good for him. Because all these sort of things are good for everybody, but seeing him here, it's like, oh, he gets to see what it's like to be on a pay-per-view on a national stage right before he gets into the national television world. And I guess
he's going to be a stud on this show too. I don't think he holds anything back.
Oh yeah, I think him, Deppen, and Dickinson are just going to be great. And Homicide, honestly, Homicide's a technical guy that not many people think about.
Very good.
Yeah,
all these years later.
I'm excited about this. This match I'm very interested to see how it turns out, to say the least. Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team titles on the line with Khan, Moses, and Shane Taylor. I think one of the best factions going right now today. Taking on Dragon Lee, Kenny King, La Bestia del Ring. Obviously, this match was probably going to have Roosh in it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Roosh.
After a knee injury.
Supposedly he's fine, by the way. Like, supposedly he's already walking around despite the, I'm going to be out 8 months thing.
Yeah, it's one of those like Mexican wrestling things where it's like, no one knows quite what's happening here.
No. Yeah. That being said, this should be really good. Like really, really good. I'm a big Dragon Lee fan personally. I think everything he does is incredible. I actually first time I saw him was in New Japan, and no, it was not the match that he broke Hiromu's neck. Thank God, which was not 100% his fault. It's just a stupid move to do.
Yeah.
Like just rewatching that, I was like, why would you do that move? But man, Dragon Lee's great. I think Kenny King has fit in very well with this group. As no offense, he's kind of the pin eater, unless Beastia.
Well, I was about to say.
Then he's the pin eater. Shane Taylor Promotions, for what I have seen, is very good. And I've never been like this massive Shane Taylor fan or anything, but he's really good at running a faction. And I think the group itself is so different from everything else in Ring of Honor that it works.
Yes.
Great.
Shane Taylor, I'm the same boat. Never been like a huge Shane Taylor kind of guy. Not at all. But seeing him run this faction, it's so perfect for him. I love Khan and Moses. I really love Khan. I think he's just got the look, the size, the ring capability right now. I think he's just perfect. Then these are just the three main players of the Shane Taylor Promotions. Yeah. You add in there Roy Hunt. You add in there O'Shea Edwards.
I love O'Shea Edwards, by the way.
And they're teasing adding Trish Adora to this faction.
Ooh.
I cannot believe this faction exists. It's so good. I think if Roosh was still in this match, I think you can make an argument for La Faction and Golden Noble winning the 6-man titles. Yeah. But now that he's out, honestly, keep the titles on Shane Taylor Promotions. They're so good.
I think you could give them to Violence Unlimited, maybe. If you have, without Roosh, of course, it being in the picture. I think that's a possibility. I definitely don't take the titles off of them. I think that's definitely something I would, because they're doing something special. And man, if they had Trish Adora,
I can't wait, man.
That'd be amazing. She'd have a whole new look too, which would be crazy because, I've never seen her, away from her usual look, attire whatsoever.
I'm intrigued also that the possibilities of them adding Trish Adora into that faction. The ideas of, does this mean we'll get some women in all of the factions?
I'm going to give Ring of Honor so much credit when we get to that women's match. I'm going to give them more credit than probably enough people are.
Yeah. Let's move on. I think, like we already talked about it. Khan, Moses, Shane Taylor Promotions, we think are going to win probably, right?
Yeah.
I think we're almost in agreement already. So through all of these matches.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, here's the thing with wrestling. Like if you feel it's predictable in some ways, that doesn't ruin the show, because even though we're predicting like a lot of the same, that doesn't mean I'm confident in all of them. Like
fair.
I could see almost all of them going the opposite direction almost. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting night.
Jude, what do you think? I got a little baby right here. Hi, Jude.
Good call. Good call. I agree.
Good cat baby. He's a big Dalton Castle guy.
I'm so sorry.
Ring of Honor pure title on the line. Jonathan Gresham taking on Josh Woods. This match, Jonathan Gresham has been outstanding pure title champion. They are touting his undefeated record, and they have been building up. Ring of Honor has been building up Josh Woods immensely. So I think if Jonathan Gresham's gonna lose the title to anyone in the Ring of Honor universe, Josh Woods is right up there, I think.
I don't want Jonathan Gresham to ever lose, to be fair. I think like that pure title and him are very special together. That being said, I would also love him to win the world title eventually. So if I got to take the sacrifice of him losing the pure title to move on to the world title, I can deal with that. And a big thing for me is that I think, one, this could be the match of the night because the pure rules match are just so good. I think you have to have a different understanding of wrestling to enjoy them. But man, Jonathan Gresham should be wrestling everywhere. Like this dude. So he's going to New Japan actually. They announced him he's going to be, I think, at the Autumn Attack show, or no, not the Autumn Attack. It's the one with the blue and red.
Blue and
in the
red.
US. Well, yeah, they announced him, Chris Bay, which was also very exciting. I don't know. They had New Japan, like, strong brand compared to New Japan brand is like insanely opposite right now in terms of New Japan strong is very exciting right now.
Yeah.
And their upcoming shows are what I'm waiting for the most. I think we're getting so many good matches. But Gresham going to a New Japan, very exciting. And there's so many people I want to see Gresham wrestle. And if this frees him up to do some more things, then he can lose it. But in the end, I think the ultimate goal for Ring of Honor should be putting the belt, the world title, on Gresham, because I think everyone can agree he's probably the guy people want to watch when they watch Ring of Honor. If it's not the current world champion.
Are you thinking Battle in the Valley?
Yeah, that's well, no, it doesn't sound right. I will check. You give your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of Jonathan Gresham moving into the world title picture, but the problem with that is that I don't know if I want Bandito to lose the title yet. I can.
Well, it doesn't need to be tomorrow.
I know, but like I don't see him losing it yet, which means we got to do something. If Jonathan Gresham, I think Jonathan Gresham. I love the idea of Jonathan Gresham winning here. I can see Josh Woods winning, but I think Jonathan Gresham has just been insanely great.
New Japan Showdown.
New Japan Showdown.
The amount of talent on the show. They have Suzuki, Jay White, Will Ospreay, Chris Dickinson, Tom Lawler, Brody King, Leo Rush, Juice Robinson, David Finlay, Lance Archer, Chris Bay, Jonathan Gresham. Oh my God. All right, sorry, continue.
New Japan right now. Jonathan Gresham has been great. I think he should win the title. I think you should keep him on it. I think you're bringing in new guys like Tyler Rust. I think there's other people that he's basically gone through everybody, but I think with people like for some reason I really like the idea of Gresham versus Dickinson and/or Homicide. Tyler Rust is there as well. I think Tyler Rust could be a winner of the title.
I think he's winning, by the way. I think Jonathan Gresham's winning.
I think he's winning, but I'm not. I'm like 60-40. I can totally see Josh Woods winning. I don't think it's the right call, but I think in Ring of Honor universe, he's been booked properly. He's been built properly. He's a solid wrestler. I could see him.
I found their announcement, by the way.
With who? New Japan's announcement?
Of the 4 talents that are going to be on New Japan Showdown. At the 2300 Arena, of course.
It's always the 2300 Arena.
Jonathan Gresham, Bullet Club's own Chris Bay, people forget that, Jake Atlas, and Alex Zane, all going to be on that show as well. So, New Japan Strong, coming out stronger than maybe anyone besides AEW in the United States right now.
That might be true. Let's talk about the finals of the Ring of Honor Women's World Title Tournament. The finals have all come down to, if you told me that this was going to be the final matchup, I don't necessarily know if I would have believed you. I think I could have seen Roxy being in there, but Miranda Alizé I was not expecting. But boy, howdy, has she been great in this tournament. Miranda Alizé versus Roxy is your title match here. What's your pick?
I was so afraid that they were going to do okay, this is not a shot at Allison Kay. I think she's actually really good now. But I thought they were going to do something boring, like Allison Kay versus Angelina Love in the finals, because they're the established names and people know them. But I'm very happy they did not do that. I think Roxy and Miranda Alizé are 2 of the 3 picks I would have made. I think Roxy easily I would have put in. Alizé or Trish Adora I thought were both acceptable choices to be in this final match. Huge spot for both of them. They both signed contracts this week, so they are going to be, part of the future of this women's division.
Mm-hmm.
And Ring of Honor isn't, I want to give them credit. I think this tournament has been very well done. I think they are completely righting the wrongs of what that Woman of Honor thing was. I think Maria Kanellis, I don't know how much hand she has in this, if she's actually picked all the talent or not, but I think she created a great bracket, and they're making stars, which I think is the most important thing for Ring of Honor. They have a real interesting spot here, is creating a women's division.
Yeah.
That is worth watching, because for all the complaints with WWE and AEW, a lot of it comes down to their women's division. And even NXT nowadays. NXT used to be that spot, I thought, for American wrestling women's division. They always had great spots. But Ring of Honor has this immense opportunity to craft it and make it one of the most must-see parts of their brand. And I think after today, you have to have more than one women's match on your shows. I think that's a problem for everyone. But 2, you need to not have Chelsea Green win. 3, when it comes down to this finals, I think Roxy, Miranda Alizé, I like them both a lot. I think they are the perfect 2. And personally, I think Roxy long term is the one to build around. I think she's the easy baby face, but I think Miranda Alizé is a fantastic heel. So to me, it's a win-win for who you have as the winner, because I think Alizé has really shined. And Roxy, she had to fight Angelina Love and Quinn McKay. Like, that's not her fault. That if people thought her tournament was a little meh, I don't think that way. I think Roxy had an actually great tournament. I thought she had a good match with Angelina Love, all things considered. No full offense to Angelina Love. They're just both so good, and I'm very excited for this. This is one of the things that have put me on to Ring of Honor, is that they're trying. They're trying. Jonathan Gresham is running the women's division now, and we just praised Jonathan Gresham for like 5 minutes, so I think our thoughts on that. I'm going to pick Roxy to win, put the baby face over the heel. I think, you have 2 good pillars to build around with those 2, and if they can somehow add Trish Adora to the roster, I know she might be a little shaky only because she is such a big indie star, but I don't see them limiting her because everything's recorded. So I think those 3, and you add someone else, whether it be a relatively known name that could have been released from WWE, or someone that's appeared on, like, there's multiple names. Maybe you use the Forbidden Door, you bring in a Kylie Ray or someone like that to help out, bring some eyes as well. There's multiple ways for them to go. But that being said, I'm picking Roxy. I think I know where you're going, so this might be our one disagreement, but it's exciting.
We are going to disagree. I think Miranda Alizé, someone I wasn't expecting to win, get to the finals, but as I see the journey,
first round and out.
honestly, I thought Miranda Alizé has been great this entire tournament. I think
she has.
That she's the pick to win, only because I think the thing around Roxy is that she is the prodigy. She is the young baby face, the easy baby face. And I think she has to have that chase against Miranda Alizé. Miranda Alizé is a good foundation, I think, to have the title under. Obviously, we both know that the next challenger is going to be Chelsea Green. As much as both of us aren't really hugely in favor of that match, we know it's coming. So we put Miranda Alizé versus Chelsea Green. I can see that happening. And I would also say Miranda Alizé wins that match too.
What does Chelsea Green have over these companies?
I don't know. I don't know. She's booked everywhere. I don't know what's happening.
She is booked everywhere. Impact, NWA. She won like a big match in the main event of the Empower show.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it, because she's very, as MJF likes to say, mid. Like, she's very okay. Like, there's not. she's not Deonna Purrazzo in a sense that she's very good at the in-ring stuff and has developed the character over time. She's not. She just. I don't know. I guess she's a name, but is she really? Like, are people going to put on your show to watch Chelsea Green wrestle?
I think Chelsea Green's like a Trojan horse. Like it's like, oh man, this looks awesome. At Chelsea Green, she got the name value. She looks great. And then it's like she goes in there. It's like, oh wait, this is I don't what like that NWA Empower main event where she wins over the hometown hero, family in the front row, over shit, what's her name?
Tootie Lynn?
Yes, against Tootie Lynn. I was like, you gotta have Tootie win this match. I'm looking around like Tootie's gotta win this. What are we doing? And it was so awkward having Chelsea.
You know who Ring of Honor could bring in? I actually tweeted this yesterday. There's two people now that I think about it. Janai Kai, I don't know if you've ever seen her. She's very good. She actually said like she wants a few matches there, so that would be cool.
Yeah.
And Masha Slamovich would also
Yes.
be an awesome addition to that roster.
I think Masha would be great. If we're talking adding
Masha should win titles.
If we're talking adding women to the different factions, I think Miranda Alizé would be great in La Faction and Gobnable, and put Masha Slamovich in Violence Unlimited.
Yes. Yeah. I knew where you're going there.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me.
But I think I like your point on Alizé because I forgot Chelsea Green's technically a babyface. I
could see maybe Roxy winning it and then Green turning heel, like shaking her hand and turning heel.
Yeah, because no one actually likes her. So why would you just not have her be heel? Like, I've never seen someone say, "I need a Chelsea Green match."
But then I think the heat there would then have Green winning the title, and I don't know if I like that.
I wouldn't be shocked if they did that.
Also
Here's my thing: like, you want to crown a first champion, I could see them do exactly that, of have Roxy win it, and then go for the heat and have Chelsea Green win it in the first defense by being a heel cheater. Like, I could see that because this is pro wrestling after all. But we'll see.
Closing out real quick, we're going over a little bit here, Scotty. So we're going to close out real quick the main event, Ring of Honor World Title 4-way elimination match.
I like the elimination.
Bandito, the champion, defending his title against Demonic Flamita, EC3, and Brody King.
Man, it's a real shame EC3's in there.
I kind of agree with that. I think he's gotten better, but I don't think he's still that great. I don't know. It's just frustrating.
My problem is I could potentially see him as the last elimination, meaning he's in the match longer than Brody King, which would upset me. Well, because he's their big name. But I could also see him be like the first elimination out of nowhere, which would shock a lot of people.
I think EC3 won a bunch of matches and he got high up in the rankings, and they're like, crap, EC3 needs to be in a world title match. We'll put him in a fatal 4-way so it doesn't look too bad.
Ooh, but Flamita's great. Bandito, I feel like we can all say like he's awesome. We love Bandito. Like the dude is so good. If there's any reason to watch Ring of Honor outside of Jonathan Gresham and what they're doing with the women's division, it's easily Bandito. Like, this dude is one of the best high flyers. Like, for me, it goes like Phoenix, Bandito, almost like, and it's almost interchangeable because they do things very differently, but they're both great.
Yeah.
And Brody King, man, I feel like we can all agree he's a future Ring of Honor world champion. Like, he's a guy they clearly see a lot in. They gave him his own faction after the villain stuff, died off, and I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think he wins here.
Yeah.
But down the line, if he were the one to take it from Bandito, I wouldn't be stunned. Or if he was the one to take it from someone else.
I can see this match for me coming down to EC3 eliminates Brody King or something, and then maybe they spin off into something. And Flamita ends up eliminating Brody King, or someone eliminates Brody King, and we get Flamita Bandito closing out with Flamita going over. Or Bandito going over, I think. I think Bandito's retaining. Brody King's like, I'm really excited to see Brody King in this match, especially with that lucha background against Bandito and Flamita. I think that's going to be great. EC3, obviously, sticks out like a sore thumb, but maybe he can. Maybe a fatal 4-way can hide the flaws of EC3, and hopefully that might bring this match into a great match territory. That's my hope. That's my hope, at least. I think Bandito's winning no matter what, though. I can't see him losing the title yet.
No. I think he has to win. You look at the people that could beat. Oh, by the way, I like the Foundation a lot. They're not really on this show, but I like them a lot too.
I agree. I love the Foundation. I love all the factions. I love.
Yeah.
All the factions.
I mean, who does Bandito lose to? That's more of my conversation than does he win this match. Man, I would love Bandito versus Gresham. That would be so good.
That's got legs.
Yeah, I mean, is Gresham technically a heel? I know he was, but
that's what I like about Ring of Honor is that they're all their factions are like gray. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
like it's like
except Roosh and company, they're supposed to be heels.
Yes, that's true. I don't know. I would say it's not that he's heel. He's a heel against people that don't respect the pure wrestling rules.
Yeah. Did you see his promo?
No, I did not. What was
the I retweeted it. Ring of Honor just put out like a really great video of Gresham talking. I definitely will send that your way after this. But I think Gresham would be a good choice. I think Brody King would be a good choice because I think both of them are clear options. That singles match would be insane too.
Is there anyone on the? I'm trying to think. We thought about Bobby Fish earlier, but I'm trying to think. It's like, is it someone on the roster now that can beat Bandito for the title?
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't want them to just have a surprise and him instantly win the title. Like I don't think that. I think Ring of Honor has created a goodwill in those who have stuck around.
Yeah.
That you don't want to do something like that unless it's just this major name that we're not thinking of. Like unless they are opening the forbidden door and bringing in Jay White. Like that's the only situation where we're like, oh well, I mean, who says no? Like that's the whole thing. Like I think you keep it in company right now.
Is it gonna be Slex, the business? You killed me there. You killed me. No response. You killed me, sir.
What a choice out of thin air. Just
I'm looking at Ring of Honor's roster right now. I'm like, oh yeah, Adam Brooks and Slex the business are here.
It's clearly going to be Eli Isom, of course, because no, it wouldn't be Eli Isom. He's still a ways away, but I think I honestly think it wouldn't be crazy to say a while down the line that Isom won the world title because he's a guy they saw and believed in and developed over time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ring of Honor is figuring out with their current standing in the world of professional wrestling is that they aren't the big name. They are no longer number 2. They are no longer number 3. Like they have fallen. I think Impact's probably number 3 just because of the New Japan combination and AEW combination. Like,
I would say New Japan Strong is number 3.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And then Impact
I keep
is 4.
forgetting about that. Yeah, Impact's probably 4, and then Ring of Honor is at 5. I will never put the NWA over Ring of Honor. Don't you worry. Yeah, I mean they just need to figure out what makes them different from the rest, and I think them incorporating a good women's division, Lucha. I think Lucha's always a great answer to change yourself away from. I know AEW has probably the 2 best Lucha stars maybe in the world right now, but you have Dragon Lee, Flamita, Ray Oris, Bandito. Like those are all good names. Laredo Kid, he could come in because he seems to just go everywhere when he feels like it. I think those are all, good ways, but Ring of Honor is a show that a company that I think a lot of people should start watching because the matches aren't long.
It's a
High,
1 hour TV show.
yeah,
Perfect length.
like 3 matches every show of just really good action. They toss some title matches in there. It's funny. Like their big thing during the Eli Isom Dragon Lee match was talking about how Dalton Castle was bringing up how like a lot of their fans, they're not watching TV, and like that's the big thing people are missing. They'll watch, a lot of fans of wrestling will watch pay-per-views, but they're not watching the TV show. And I think the TV show, because you can watch it on Fight TV for free with very limited commercials, is great. I think it's great, and you could skip right through like the little commercials and barely miss any action. So
woo, Car Shield.
Yeah, and LA Knight for some reason, all the time. But and
what?
We're ending our show pretty much, but Ring of Honor definitely worth checking out. They have some of the best talent still. And when you have a nucleus of Jonathan Gresham, Dragon Lee, Roosh Bandito, Brody King, Chris Dickinson, like when you have a nucleus like that, it's different from what we're seeing on other shows. So definitely I think they're still the wrestler promotion.
Yeah. That's going to be it for us on this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode. Scotty, we're going to be doing our plugs here, but we have a new segment here that you pitched. We're going to be doing our matches of the week, you and I. So part of your plugs, where can people find you? What match do you think that they should watch from the past week of wrestling?
I'm going to kick off this new segment strictly with Stardom because it would not be my gimmick if I didn't do it. But this is
you told me let's do this to get new wrestling promotions, and the first thing you do is Stardom.
Listen to me. We had a conversation yesterday about how not enough people are watching Stardom and like not watching women's wrestling. So the best way to start this off is to watch women's wrestling. Takumi Iroha versus Tam Nakano, one of the best matches you'll see in the entire tournament. And it was great. But the reason I actually thought of this segment was I was looking at Minoru Suzuki versus Jonathan Gresham for the GCW show, and I was like, yeah, that's probably going to be insane.
Yeah.
And I think to get ways for us to talk about it without having to talk about an entire GCW show is this. So
I agree.
That's definitely my recommendation for this week. Takumi Iroha versus Tam Nakano. This time come next week. Who knows? Who knows what we'll be talking about?
Maybe it'll be Ron Funches versus Tony Deppen. Who knows?
Not a chance.
And where can people find you?
They can find me in my house. I'm just kidding.
His address is get your pens and peppers.
They can find me on Twitter at Scott E Wrestling. You can that's where I post podcasts. That's where I post articles. I would say all the websites that I write for, but it's better if I just tell you to go to my Twitter because that is where everything leads. So yeah, do that.
You can follow me at Ryan Neitzey on Twitter. You can follow also Count Out as well. I got another show on here called Happy Hour, where it's more of just like a hangout session where I act a fool for a full hour. Scotty, we got to get you on Happy Hour at some point.
Yes, we do. I always want to go on, but it's always like a night where I'm like, well, I can't. So
that's I get you. We got to figure it out.
Every Thursday?
Right now, every Thursday at the very least.
Okay. Well, maybe you should make it like Wednesday.
Not
Wednesday because the Dynamite's on.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like we're not gonna do Wednesday, and we were going to originally do Friday, and then Rampage started, and we're like, God damn it.
Well, you could be done by 10.
That's true. That's the thought. We're talking about it.
Oh, and what's your match recommendation? We're not just gonna let you off easy.
Yes. My match recommendation. I scolded you, but here we go. Jon Moxley versus Suzuki.
Wow, I honestly didn't expect that to be the match. I don't know. I was sour on it just because of the finish, which looked terrible, and I just wish they got more time to breathe.
Yeah, I really liked the match. I thought it was really good.
I would think so. You recommended it.
That's fair. I'm also still catching up on a bunch of old wrestling, so I've basically been watching old wrestling, trying to catch up. But what I seen this week, I thought John Moxley versus Suzuki was great. I thought, well, not great. I think it was really good. I think, I'm going to, skipping all the Kazanine nonsense, Kazani nonsense. Is that something? I thought the match itself was very good. I thought Suzuki put on a phenomenal performance. The accidental blood obviously, boosts my star ratings here because I love me some accidental blood. And it just made, I think if you're establishing, I thought of this match very much as, in a way, establishing the legend that is Minoru Suzuki in front of the American audience. And also because of the accidental blood, this was the perfect match to do that. He is all aura. He is all legend. He gets the blood, wipes off his face, licks it off his hand, and just goes in to try to kill Moxley even more. I thought this was really good. I don't think it's the best John Moxley match ever. I don't think it's the best Suzuki match ever. But I think this match was very good and established Suzuki as a threat. And they're coming back. Minoru Suzuki's coming back to Dynamite, so we got a little bit of a rivalry, and I'm sure that Kaze Ninare nonsense is going to be brought up next week on Dynamite with him and Lance Archer addressing John Moxley's hometown, hometown allegiance or whatever. So yeah. I'm very excited to see more of Suzuki on Wednesday nights, and I thought this match was really good. I think if anything else, we'll get a tag match, probably Lance and Suzuki versus Mox and I don't know, Eddie Kingston probably.
Yeah, that clearly makes no sense.
And then
but Suzuki going back together, baby.
Oh, Suzuki versus Eddie Kingston. Oh man. Oh man, I'm thinking about that now. Whew.
What thoughts on the wasted Brian Cage? Just kidding, no one cares. Moving on. The show's over.